Welcome to this episode of Let's Get Real. This is your host, Amir Helaly, and today we get to sit down with Dr. Sam Bakhtiar. He's the CEO of the Camp Transformation Center. Although he's built a multi-million-dollar business, which is in the tune of revenue north of $100 million with over 100 locations worldwide, Sam not only talks business, but more so the mindset and the attitude it took to navigate through all the adversity he had to overcome after fleeing Iran as a refugee. In this interview, Sam talks about what it was like growing up in Sharon, Pennsylvania, and shares some exclusive, never-before-heard experiences that not only took him to obtain massive wealth in life, but also helped him find the love of his life. So grab your pens and papers, take notes, get ready to implement new mindsets in your life. So without further ado, let's get real with Sam Bakhtiar.
Thank you so much. What's going on, my guy?
How's it going, dude? Thank you for coming through.
Thank you for having us, man. It's beautiful. It's great being here. The energy's flowing. It's amazing. So I want to thank you for taking the time to have me today.
Oh, man, let's get to it, man. What you got for me? You got some questions for me?
I got a lot of questions for you.
Oh, shit. Okay, let's go.
Well, first question, I know a little bit about your story, and I'm pretty sure some of our viewers know as well, but I really wanted you to emphasize on how it was growing up in Iran.
Oh, gosh, man. You want me to take me all the way back,
I want to take you all the way back.
Shit. Well, so I was born in Tehran, Iran, right? You know, and I was born in Tehran, Iran, and when I was 3 years old, you know, my mom and dad separated. You know, we had that great war. My dad got out of the country, and that was the last time I saw him when I was 3. And so everything was good, you know, until Saddam Hussein started attacking our country. You know, I remember, you know, hearing bombs dropping on us and, you know, planes flying over and, you know, sirens and the thing. And I didn't know any kids. I just thought it looked like fireworks.
I could imagine,
And when I was 11, you know, my mom said, well, you know what? We need to get out of here. I don't want you to go to war. I don't want you to get killed. So we're going to go to America. You know, but you couldn't go straight to America, you know, from Iran.
I can imagine,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we had to go to France. We stayed there for a year as refugees of war. And then we went to, you know, we came to the United States when I was 11 years old. And it was crazy because when I was coming to the United States, I thought I was coming to Beverly Hills because that's what I saw on TV. I saw shows like A-Team, Dallas of Dynasty. You're too young for that, but research those shows. It was like,
I know exactly what
it
you're
was like
talking
the Kardashians of their time, you know what I mean? You know, and so I thought everybody had Cadillacs and mansions and everybody had, you know, all this money. But I went to Sharon, Pennsylvania, and it was middle of crack cocaine epidemic in 1985 where all the steel mills were shutting
drugs.
down. Exactly. This is your brain on drugs, you know, all that kind of stuff. And we went there and I was like, what the hell is this? Like, I thought, I was like, did I come to the right country? Because my uncle took me straight to his convenience store in the hood. And Middle Eastern, that's what they do.
Pretty stereotypical.
You know what I mean? Yeah, we have a Middle Eastern job, right? You know, you have a convenience store in the worst neighborhood. So when that happened, you know, I was like crushed. You know, I went to 7th grade to enroll, you know, in school, and I told them I want to play football. And they're like, football? I'm like, this country doesn't even make sense. You know, I'm like, this is the foot and this is the ball. My English, I know that much English, you know. And long story short, man, so I was in a new country, no friends. Everybody made fun of me. I didn't have any sport, the sport that I loved, no friends. And now I'm like, what am I going to do? So I tried out for the basketball team.
And how'd that go?
Well, we know white man can't jump.
Arab man.
Man, you know what? Persian man can't really jump at all.
At all.
So I got cut from the basketball team, which was like one of the most devastating things, you know, that was ever happened to me. But it also ended up being the best thing that ever happened to me. And for those people who are listening to this, you know, some of the times that, you know, you are so devastated in your life and you're like, God, why me? Why me? Why me? Why me? You know, stop and understand that God has something greater for you later on. You know, at that time I didn't understand it. Everybody was making fun of me, or they already make fun of me. Now I got cut from the basketball team.
I can
imagine all
yeah.
the ridicule and all that kind of stuff, you know. But so I went home crying and told my mom I want to go back to Iran. You know, I hate this country. I don't have any friends. Mom was like, that's not an option. So what you do is after school, go practice at the boys club, get better, and try out next year. And as I was coming to, you know, to go play basketball, I see these guys that were in there walking around like this. And I'm like, man, you know, I want to look like them. They look like Sylvester Stallone and they look like Arnold. So I started.
And those were like the big movies around that time,
That was, yeah, you know, The Predator, you know,
and then
the
you got Rocky
movies.
1, yeah.
That was the movies back then. So I started working out, man, and next thing you know, I fell in love with, you know what it did for me. I started developing those baby muscles. So that's, that's
And that's the
basically
term you came up with.
Baby muscles, yeah.
I saw that on your interview.
it. Yeah,
You were
baby
talking
muscles
about,
are the muscles that you only can tell on yourself.
and that's when like the light hits in a certain way and you're flexing a certain
Absolutely, yeah,
way.
yeah.
You
You
got
read
the
my,
pump.
yeah.
I do.
Yeah,
I can't prepare it. Don't
I,
worry.
I was literally like, 120 pounds flexing.
What?
I was like, yeah, I got this. Like, I was 120 pounds. I was telling my mom, look at this. Mom, I'm like, what? I'm like, look, you're right there. Look at the light. Look at this. Look at this, Mom. And my mom was like, what the hell? You're weird.
That's
You know
insane.
what I mean? But I told everybody I'm gonna be a bodybuilder. They're so funny, man. Like, my friends when I went back home, they're like, you remember when you told me you're gonna be a bodybuilder and you're gonna make it in bodybuilding? And nobody believed you. I'm like, I remember that. I didn't believe me either, but I just made a statement.
Well, can you take me back, because I didn't know that you lived in France for a year.
Yeah.
So you actually had to reinvent yourself twice, right? Because I'm pretty sure at one point in time in France, you're like, okay, are we gonna get a visa to go to the US?
France was different because France is very diverse. France is full of Persians and Arabs and so many things. I went to Sharon, Pennsylvania, and there was like black people, there was white people, and there was fucking Sam. And there was like, what the fuck are you? They were like, seriously, there was like, what is you?
And you couldn't blend in with any of them, obviously.
Yeah, you were either black, listening to LL Cool J, or you were white, listening to Metallica. There was no in between. You know what I mean? And that was the hardest. And France wasn't too hard, because there were so many, there was, you see your own people.
Yeah.
So that was, yeah.
So a quick question. At any point in time, did you feel like you had to change your identity to gravitate towards a certain group so you could find the group of friends? Because I know how difficult it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've done that. And it's funny. I was going over some old pictures because I'm making a documentary, and my staff was like, "Dude, you were like 13 different people." You know what I mean?
Throughout the years, right?
Yeah, throughout the years you evolve. You know what I mean? You're trying to find yourself. You're trying to feel who you are, especially when you don't fit in. So absolutely, man, absolutely.
Do you feel like that contributed to you trying to find who you were? You know what I mean? Just being exposed to different environments, being exposed to different ridicule, if I could use that term, you know what I mean? Being in a position where you don't necessarily fit in, so it's like, who am I now? You know what I mean? You're left to discover yourself.
That strengthened me so much because, as you know, as Middle Easterns, we have some amazing traits, but we also have some fucked up traits. You know about that, I know about that.
Yeah, we have the entrepreneurial spirit. That's number one, because history tells us that we're merchants, right? We've always been merchants. But what are some of the downsides?
Oh, downsides of me Persian. Oh, my mom said, you have to marry a Persian girl, or you have to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, or you're just nobody. You know what I mean? Or they insist on you doing stuff, and they're all in your business. They're all trying to tell you what to do, and they're trying to control your life. The exaggerations of Middle Easterns and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of, good traits, and there's some traits that, I just don't like. And being exposed to other cultures, you see what traits you like, what traits you don't like. Whether it's black, white, Filipino, Asian, whatever it is, you see that.
Yeah.
So to me, there's no real culture now. The best culture is your own culture. You make your own culture. So I do what the things that the Persians do, I love. The things that black do, I love. White do, and all that kind of stuff. I'm not, when they say, well, you're Persian, you're supposed to be this way. I'm not Persian. I'm my own people.
You don't fall into the mold at all.
I've never mold. And that was a big problem with my mom, good. Persians don't shave their arms. I was a bodybuilder. The first time I shaved my arm because I was bodybuilding, my mom straight out bald her. She literally bald her.
And I know you had a unibrow. You had a pretty bad unibrow.
Oh yeah, man. I shaved my unibrow, man. She bald that time. My mom was always crying about something I fucking did. Because I was into your typical Persian man, like, eating. And then they made Persian food with all this rice and all this oil. I'm like, nah, man, I'm on my chicken breast. So I'm the black sheep of the family.
Give me the egg whites and the chicken breast, right?
I was the black. One time my mom invited me over. I was going to stay at Penn State when I was going to college. And I said, Mom, I'm dieting. I'm getting ready for a show. So I'm not going to come over. So no, come here. I'll make you some clean food. So one time she made me some rice. I'm like, Mom, this doesn't have any oil in it, right?
They make a big old thing of rice. It's never just some rice.
Yeah, this doesn't have any oil in it. She goes, no, it doesn't have any oil in it. I touched it. I'm like, it's oily. I'm like, Mom, doesn't have any oil?
Animal fat.
It's just olive oil.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, I said oil. I don't care what kind of oil. I said no oil.
Yeah.
But it's just olive oil, And
it's good for you. Everything is good for you, right?
She meant well, but I never forget. I was hardcore getting ready for a show. I did 3-hour workout in the morning on an empty stomach. And I was driving back home to my mom's house. And 2 stop signs before I get to her house, I smell the Persian food. Like my favorite Persian food. Like I'm literally like my knees got weak, my mouth is salivating, I'm like going like this. I open up the door, like somebody sucker punched me. I'm like, oh God, I'm going like into convulsions.
And this was before you competed, or was this after?
No, while I was competing, while I was getting ready for competition. And I was like, Mom, what the hell are you doing? You know.
It's your kryptonite.
It was like no support.
Yeah.
I think, out of all the bodybuilding shows I've done like over 25 or 30, I think she came to 1 or 2.
I think within the Middle Eastern culture, it's always considered a fad when, let's just say, the son does something. Okay, he'll grow out of it. You know what I mean? Whether he does bodybuilding, whether he decides to play basketball. Okay, well, focus on your studies, right? Okay, you could do it, but finish your studies first. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah. But I wanted to ask you, so you lived in Sharon, Pennsylvania. You struggled to find your identity. And I'm pretty sure when the veins started popping out and the muscles grew up, they're no longer baby muscles. That's when you gained your confidence, right?
Absolutely. I started getting confidence right away from weightlifting. I started, even with baby muscles, it started elevating my confidence. And, that really helped me change my life.
And did that translate into different areas of your life, your social life? People were more accepting of you?
Absolutely, man. Now girls are before girls were like laughing at me, now girls are like, oh, damn, Sam. And I'm like, shit. Yeah. I said, the more you go down towards the middle, the harder it gets.
Yeah, I can imagine you just running out the gym with your veins popping out, like, hey, where they at? Where they at?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was. I started getting attention. People started, liking me and stuff like that. So it was cool.
Giving your mom the shirts, Mom, just sew it tighter. I need my arms to look bigger, huh?
Man, they say that if you get a bodybuilder a big shirt, he's flattered. But if you get him a small shirt, he will wear it.
That's true. You always wear one size less than what you are, right?
Always. I need to work all this hard. And the problem with Pennsylvania was that 9 months out of the year,
you're wearing that
cold.
big old jacket.
It's cold,
you got the North Face
It's cold. It's cold, this and that. And then you have 3 months. So I remember one time I was in the locker room. It was like December or January. And, I was taking a shower. And I was literally fat, white, and hairy. I was like belly, hair, white as hell, you know what I mean? And then the same guy see me like in April, they're like, damn, 3 months ago you were fat, white, and hairy. You're like tan, toned, and like, muscular now. That's all you did was get ready for the summer.
What do you got, like 3 months to tan, right?
Yeah.
So part of the challenge I would see moving from somewhere like the Middle East, Sharon, Pennsylvania, is the weather, and I'm pretty sure that presented something, right? Your first winter, I think the audience would be really interested in hearing about your first winter, because I know a lot of people who move from different countries, different states, and the first thing they say is the winter is so difficult here.
Yeah, I mean the winter. I'm used to snow in Iran, in the northern part. We had snow, and I went to skiing and all that kind of stuff, But Sharon was a whole different level of snow, different level of cold, and it was like that constantly. In Iran, you have 3 months of winter. Over there, it was like 9 months of winter and 3 months of summer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was crazy. And on top of that, we were in a little, very, very humble home that the shower was downstairs in the basement where it doesn't have air conditioning and heat. And so when you go take shower, with someone that doesn't have air conditioning heat in the middle of winter when it's 20 degrees below, it's probably about 10 degrees below there.
Inside the house,
I was constantly sick because I would take a hot shower, come out, and the floors was concrete floors. And then you step on cold concrete floors, you go like, ooh, like this.
The tiles, yeah.
And that's why it's funny, if you go to my master bedroom by the shower, I have heated floors, even though I live in California, because I told myself one day that if I ever make it, I'm gonna get some fucking heated floors because I never want to step on a fucking cold surface again after a shower. That's like a prejudice, man. That's like a a complex I had because I was like, shit.
But that's really interesting. So every single detail, every single pain that you had, whether it be a cold floor, whether it be being scrawny, whether it be being hairy, you know what I mean, just by genetic design, that was always something that pushed you, hey, when I get there, I'm going to change everything that's in my power to change, correct?
Well, absolutely. I mean, look, I was talking to somebody else the other day, and I don't want to downplay bullying and, all that kind of stuff, because I know that's a serious problem, all that kind of stuff. But when I was around, when I was like, growing up, in Sharon or this and that, man, I mean, I got beat up, I got ridiculed, I got, made fun of, every name in the vocabulary, they call me. Every name, I don't even want to say it because it will offend so many people, and all that kind of stuff. I don't remember anybody hanging themselves, or I don't remember anybody killing themselves back then, or all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying it's not a problem. It's a problem, but I think as a society we become soft. When I got bullied and I got beat up, I just went back to the drawing boards. What I need to do to come back and beat this motherfucker.
Well, that's one way. That's a plan to execute.
I was like, I was have to come. I just had to learn to defend myself. If somebody is going to make fun of me, I'm going to come back. Now I'm going to come back and make fun of them. So
and then 27 inches later on your arms.
It made me strong. It made me stronger. It made me more resilient. You know what I mean? Bullying, it was a fact of life.
Yeah.
Growing up. It's not if you're going to get bullied. It's when you're going to get bullied. Is it today or is it going to be tomorrow? It's one of these times in the week you're going to get bullied. And to me, for me, it made me resilient.
Yeah, I think back in the day we were told how to handle bullying. Now I think everyone's trying to avoid it altogether. But I think you can agree on this as well. There's always bullying in one form, or one shape or form in every stage of your life, whether it be in your professional career. I'm pretty sure you've made some enemies on the way up, you know what I mean? And I know that you have a list of people you just want to demolish. So did that start at that time? Was that when?
No. That was started after
Okay.
in business and all that kind of stuff, But I think subconsciously I had that list. I didn't have it written down back then because I didn't know what to write down was, all that kind of stuff. But for me, it was always like, okay, tell me I can't do something. Frank Sinatra said that the biggest revenge is what? Massive success, right? It's massive success. So if you want to be, successful, be massively, if you want to revenge on somebody or something, you want to be massively successful. Today, though, nobody wants revenge. Well, everything's green. Let's just smoke some weed and let me just do this and then everything's green, everything's good. And no, you shouldn't be hating on nobody. Fuck that.
So you made it a mission to get back at people in a modest way, not so much.
I'm not going to get back at people, personally, or I'm going to go after them. I'm just going to become successful.
And that's your way of, hey,
man, the girl who said no to me for prom, hit me up later on. Hey, let's go hang out. Listen, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just became the best version that I could be.
I think Pitbull said it. He said, the best deals are the ones that you could walk away from, or the ones that you could say no to. You know what I mean? So do you feel like just pushing that away, turning it down, that was more of a win for you at that point? It was later gratification than...
I had somebody better. The hottest girl in school, I asked her the prom, I was like, no, that's okay. A couple of years later, I had a chick hotter than her. You know what I mean? So it's not, for me, it's like you become the best version of you. And you don't really need to see what they're doing. You become the best version of you, that's enough. They'll see. They'll see all the haters, follow me. All the people who said I couldn't do, they follow me. A lot of them ask me for jobs and loans.
And how do you respond to something like that?
You know what? The best way to do? You help them out.
Do you?
You help them out.
And that just feeds your soul, right?
Dude, I mean, it's all, when somebody bows down to you, basically.
You lift them up.
You lift them up. I'm not going to kick him down.
Yeah.
I'm not going to kick a man when they're down. I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? But I'm going to show them, that, they were wrong.
Was this always your way to deal with things, or is this something you grew into? Because I know people at a young age are more impulsive than anything, and they just think with emotion, but that seems like a very logical way to think of it. You know what I mean? You're not really thinking, okay, well, you put me down, I'm going to keep you down. You're like, hey, you know what? All's forgiven.
Bro, I think time heals everything. You know what I mean? I just used, naysayers, haters, people who doubted me.
To fuel you.
To fuel me. I remember even with some relatives. I remember, having a discussion with a relative that I didn't, agree with what he was saying. And he goes, so you read all these books, you think you're smart now? Like, this is my own flesh and blood.
And this is after or before you became a doctor? Because...
No, this is after.
That's a pretty blunt statement,
So you think you read all these books, you're smart right now? I'm like, well, I actually am. I'm sorry you haven't picked up a book after high school. I'm sorry you drink and, you wasted your life. I didn't say that, but I was thought that. He's an older, relative, you know what I mean? But that's the kind of mentality you deal with all the time. The best thing to do in life, stay focused, stay in your own lane, let your success speak. You don't gotta say shit.
Yeah.
I don't have to say shit.
Yeah, no, my mentor always tells me your mistakes will be buried in your successes, so I could definitely agree with that.
And and you always understand that, your naysayers or your haters, they were, go on a speaker and announce your failures.
But never clap for your successes.
But they'll like never say anything about your successes. You know what I mean? They'd be the first one to comment a negative comment on your post if there is anything that could be found wrong.
Yeah, like
you
the
know what I mean?
lighting or
And everything else you put on this and that. Oh, they'll never comment on anything like that. But they'll show up when they get they get problems.
Interesting. So at that point, you bodybuild, you compete. Where was the decision made to move to California? Because I know you went to school in Whittier, right?
Yeah. So I went to Penn State.
Okay.
I got my master's in pre-medicine and nutrition.
And you spent 6 years there.
Yeah, 6 years there. 6 years there. And then I was like, all right, my mom said become a doctor, lawyer, engineer.
A disgrace.
Or a disgrace. Or better say, I prefer a doctor. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to cut people. I don't want to do surgery. I don't want to drill people's teeth. I'm like, what doctor has to do with muscles, bones, and everything that I like pertaining to bodybuilding? And at that time, chiropractic was the only program that had a doctorate program. Physical therapists didn't have a doctorate program. So I chose chiropractic and I started, applying to all the chiropractic schools. And the two best chiropractic schools were the number one was Palmer in Iowa.
Okay.
And I wasn't fucking going to Iowa. I'm like, fuck that. I'm tired of the cold weather.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to California. Plus, I had my uncles and aunts and stuff here. So I came here in California and moved in with my uncle and aunt for a year.
So you were like what, 26? Because I know you graduated at 27, right? Or you spent 2 years.
I was 20. I was 23.
23. So when you came to California, you were 23.
Yeah, 23.
Can you tell me the difference between the day you left Sharon, Pennsylvania, and came to California, and the difference between the day you left Iran and moved to the U.S.? Do you use that as a frame of reference whenever you move up or, make a major change in your life?
Well, shit. I mean, it was almost like the same shock. I mean, I don't know,
will I be accepted? Will I find the place to fit in?
No, not that. My mind was blown because, growing up, I always like weightlifting. I've been into three things all my life: weightlifting, cars, and women. Thank God, thank God I narrowed down to women because that shit costs too much. So when I came to California, the first thing I noticed was I'm driving in Sharon, Pennsylvania. If you drive a Honda Accord, you're fucking made it.
I could imagine.
You made it. I mean, if you have a new Honda Accord, you're a fucking doctor. Everybody knows you and everything like that. I'm coming to California, and all of a sudden I'm going, fuck, there's a BMW. Oh, there's a Rolls Royce. Oh, there's a Lamborghini.
And that was completely foreign to you, right?
I was like, what the hell? I only see these things in the magazines, like Car and Driver. I'm infatuated with cars. I remember pulling up to South Coast Plaza, and I literally for an hour I didn't even go in because I was like a thief looking inside these cars. I'm going, oh my God, like look at this. Like this is my favorite car. I couldn't my mom was like, dude, what are you doing? I was like crazy blown away, And I remember going to South Coast Plaza and looking at a T-shirt, and this was like I said, this was like 1990.
So your 96. Mom moved with you. You didn't move alone.
No, she came with me.
Okay.
She came with me, then she would stay back.
Okay, yeah. She just wanted to make sure that you had a comfortable situation, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I remember looking at a T-shirt, it was like $100. I'm like, $100? I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, I was making $3.35 an hour back then. $100, that's like a week's worth of work for a T-shirt. And I see people with shopping bags and Rolls Royces and coming there and putting the stuff. I was like, my mind was blown. Like, what do these people do? And it's so funny. Like, I catch myself doing the same thing now. Go to South Coast, valet park the car, getting, shops bags, getting a Rolls Royce or Lambo or whatever I'm driving that day. And I'm going like, my God, this was surreal because I was like one of those guys. And it's funny because I went back to Pittsburgh and I went to the Louis store and I bought like a bunch of luggages and stuff like that. And these two kids were coming to the mall. They're like, "You're buying that? What? How do you do that?" And I was that kid. I was that kid.
Are you ever approached by younger people?
Yes, all the time.
And what's your message to them? Like, because I know at certain points in my life things seemed unattainable. I remember looking at things even less than $100. I'm like, how? And people are buying 5, 6 of them. You know what I mean? So, what's your best advice for them? I
tell them, hey, look, if you want it, you can have it. I was just like you. I never thought I could have this. But I worked hard, I stayed persistent, I was relentless, and I got it. And if you really want this kind of stuff, you gotta find what you wanna do and to be the best at it. I get approached all the time. I mean, I remember, looking at cars all the time, and usually people, that had like Ferraris and Lambos. Kid, get away from my car. You know what I mean? And I told myself I'll never be that. So if I see a kid, see them looking at my car and all that kind of stuff,
You'll roll down the window.
I open up the car. No, I'm like, hey, come get in. Hey, get in. And I usually like, there's a mom where, hey, mom, he's cool, right? I'm not going to kidnap. You know what I mean? And these days, people are always like looking at you weird. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, just come in, get in the car. Hey, you want to start it up? Let's start it up. And it just makes their day. That's what I want to do. This stuff don't mean, this stuff doesn't mean anything to me. This stuff was what meant to me when I was coming up. Because to me, I attribute this stuff to success. I don't attribute this stuff to success anymore. It's who I become is the most successful thing that I've ever done.
And do you feel like seeing that and being exposed to it and moving here to California just gave you a vision to manifest into your reality? Do you feel like you have to see something in order to bring it into this world?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like in Sharon, Pennsylvania,
You've never seen it, I would imagine. You've never seen a Lambo like that, so it's not something you saw it in the magazine.
No,
but
if you drive this in Sharon, Pennsylvania, you get pulled over within 45 seconds and get searched. Your whole, you're gonna get cavity search.
So when you go out there, you're just like a commoner, right? You're driving a Nissan Sentra.
That's exactly what I drove. I drove a Nissan Pathfinder.
Did you really?
Yeah. That was a rental Pathfinder. I don't want nothing fancy. I don't want nothing crazy.
You took off that time machine?
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. I'm not flashing anything. I don't want no problems.
But the people that know you when you go back, how do they react when you come back? You know what I mean? Because it's always
their mind is blown. Their mind is blown. They're like, wow, Sam, we're just so proud of you. So we met with a bunch of friends and they're just like blown away, and they're like, so, Sam, it's crazy. You're the same person. Of course I'm the same person. What do you want me to change? I'm the same dude. You know what I mean? My mentality has changed, but I'm the same guy. I don't understand why people say money changes people. Money doesn't change people. Money just exposes who you are faster.
Exactly. It exemplifies who you are.
Money is an accelerant. It's like putting gas on a fire. So they're like, how you? You're the same person. I am the same fucking person.
Yeah, because if you were a prick before you had money, it'd be even bigger prick, right? And if you were generous at the time, which is something that I see as a common trait between a lot of people who reach the level of success that you're at, you know what I mean?
Well, when you're dead broke, and you don't have any money, your rent is due, and you don't know if your kid is going to eat, it's hard to be generous. It's hard to think about fulfillment. You know what I mean? And the reason you're leaving your six-figure plus job, six-figure plus job and doing what you're doing right now is because now you're at a point that you at least can pay your basic necessities.
Definitely. I can sustain myself.
If you couldn't afford to eat, you wouldn't do that, right?
100%.
So when I couldn't afford to eat, I couldn't think about fulfillment. I couldn't think about giving. I couldn't think about generous. But once you get to where you want, and you got everything that you ever dreamed about, think like, what's next? And what do I need more? I always ask myself that. If I get a check for $1 billion tomorrow, how much of my life will change? Look, if you are homeless right now, and all of a sudden you get $100,000, which is not a lot of money, but you get $100,000, your life will change. Your life will change from homeless to $100,000. Your life will change, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, all of a sudden, let's just say, you have $1 million, right? And now you make $100 million. Your life doesn't change as much as the person that was homeless to $100,000 and $1 million to $100 million. You see what I'm saying? Now, if I get $1 billion tomorrow, what am I gonna do? Like, buy a Bugatti? I have the cars that I like. What am I gonna do? My life is pretty damn good. So money after a while has a diminishing return.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And then what becomes the most valuable for you
is family.
Is time. It's time. We talked about this off camera.
We did,
It's time. For me, it's like I want to control time. I don't want to control money. I have money. That's why, you see me. My barber comes to me. Car wash comes to me. Maid, 7 days a week, clean the house. My guys knows that. I want, everything comes to me.
Full control of your time, yeah.
You know what I mean? Whoever controls time is the most valuable person. Whenever you see, a lot of times, when Obama, right? Uh-huh. Obama always flew to Oprah.
Always.
Oprah just went there when there was an event and all that.
At the White House, of course,
right?
Yeah.
But when they had a meeting, Obama flew to because she controls time.
And how do you gauge that? Like, how do you gauge whose time is more valuable? Because this guy is running the entire country, whereas Oprah is just operating a company. Not to belittle it.
It's not necessarily who's more valuable. It's who respects their time more. You know what I mean? Some people just don't respect their time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for me, every second lost is a waste. And I hate inefficiencies. I'm all about efficiency.
Oh, no, I can tell you.
Before you came, I planned out my schedule, what I need to do next day. I know exactly what I need to do next day.
And you break it down in increments, right?
Absolutely.
You have like 2-3 hour increments where you devote your time to this or to that. Because you wake up at what, like 3 o'clock in the morning,
3
right?
o'clock in the morning.
4 o'clock you're at the gym?
Absolutely.
And that's something that you've been practicing for how long?
It's funny, my crew is videoing my workouts every morning at 4 a.m., And it's funny, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, gym, there's people there at 5 a.m. Today, nobody was there at 5 a.m.
It was just you.
It was just me still. You know what I mean? Because I get at 4 or 5 and nobody's here. And then they're like, why they don't get results? Why they don't get results? It's not a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday thing. It's an everyday thing. Your time is round the clock, 24/7. Like, hey, how many days a week do you work out? Well, how many days a week do you breathe?
Every single day.
How many days a week do you pee? Does your body just stop breathing because it's your day off? You still got to move.
And is that something you would encourage everyone watching this to practice in their lives, waking up at it doesn't have to be 3 o'clock, of course. Some people have conflicts in their schedules,
Look,
you know what I mean?
I had this discussion a few days ago on a virtual podcast where the guy goes, well, I started following you and I started getting up earlier. And then, then I started following this other guy and he told me I need 8 hours of sleep. I said, look, first of all, follow one person. Don't go, I get 50 million different people's advice and all that. There's many different ways for you to get to one point. But let me ask you a question. Are you where you want to be in life? No? Then what the fuck are you sleeping for? To me, if you're not where you want to be in life, I'm not where I want to be in life. If you not want to be in life, then sleeping should be a luxury, not a necessity.
100%.
People want to sleep. What the fuck are you sleeping for? I just wrote this caption. I'm gonna post that later on. I'm just scrolling through IG, and I don't do that too much. But I was scrolling through IG. Everybody on the beach fucking taking a picture on the fucking toe, man. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, it's the same person that's like late on the rent and asked me for money last week. Fuck you doing on the beach? If I get another broke ass person on the beach and showing their toe, man,
and they owe you money.
What the fuck are you doing on the beach, man? You got no business being on the beach. Nobody wants to see a broke ass toe.
That's so funny. But what really intrigues me about what you said is the intensity that you said it with, because that was deep. I just zoned out. I'm like, damn, shoot, I'm sleeping too much now. I can't sleep for the next few weeks.
You think I'm intense, man. I just interviewed a guy who did 50 Ironmans in 50 days. So this is when I thought, I'm good. I'm getting up at 3 o'clock. I'm gonna get up at 3 o'clock. I'm good at 4. I'm a little bitch compared to him. There's different levels. There's different levels. I wanted to do a marathon, in my life, and I was like, I'm going to do that. I'm not a runner, man. I'm an aerobic. I'm not aerobic. But you have to understand, man. You have to have the burning desire. Don't tell me you want to be successful and you want to sleep. Don't tell me you want to be successful when you're on a fucking beach. Don't tell me you're fucking broke, but then you're at Coachella. Make up your mind. Do something to go after it. I'm so tired of all these entrepreneurs. You know what I mean? Because they think, they see the highlights. They see me now. They see all the cars, the mansions, the clothes, the jewelry.
They didn't see.
They don't see the broken relationship. They don't see the divorce. They don't see the lawsuits. They don't see the bankruptcies.
Sleepless nights, all that.
They don't see me work, to this day, if I get 5 hours of sleep, I'm golden. You know what I mean? They don't see all that. They think, oh, how much you want to make? I want to make 50 million. How? You ain't going to do it by fucking sleeping in. I'll tell you that right now. Because this generation, man, they got it all fucked up. Everybody wants to be an Instagram, celebrity. I'm going to do Instagram, a celebrity. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Instagram celebrities, like back in the day when everybody wanted to play in NFL, everybody wanted to be an NBA. Hey, you can be one if you're willing to do whatever it takes, but you're not doing whatever it takes. And especially consistency. I tell my team all the time, everybody commits. Everybody commits. Everybody commits, but nobody stays consistent.
And that's what separates the entrepreneurs from the actual entrepreneurs.
Staying consistent is doing what you said you're going to do when you don't fucking feel like doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm no different than anybody else. Everybody thinks I'm a broccoli-eating cyborg. All he does is work out and eat fucking broccoli. I'm not that.
If it was just that easy, everybody would do it, right?
Bro, no, nobody would do it because after a week, I can't do this shit. You know what I mean? No, but you have to understand that. Let me give you an example. If you went to McDonald's right now and you ate 2 double quarter pounders with cheese, a large fries, a Coke, and an apple pie, will you gain 40 pounds tomorrow?
You won't know. You got to keep consistent at that. You got to keep that momentum going day
Right?
in and day out.
And that's the problem.
So it's there. It's embedded inside of us.
If you gain 40 pounds by eating that meal, nobody would fucking eat that meal. But the problem is it doesn't show up. It doesn't show up. It creeps on you. It creeps on you. It creeps on you. Next thing you know, you're fat, overweight, and you just need to go, you're unhealthy.
So would you say people have the ability to commit to something, but oftentimes they commit to wrong things? Because that's what I'm getting, because a lot of people will gain 40 pounds. More people will gain 40, 50, 60 pounds compared to people getting in shape like you know what I mean? So
I'm saying everything you do is either going to get you closer to your goal or more away from the goal. That's it, right? So if you think that one meal is not going to hurt you, then it's going to compound over time.
You're taking a step back.
There's 2 different things you can do, man. You can have habits that compound to great things and habits that compound to disaster. You choose.
So how do you keep that momentum going on your worst days? Because I know you said in multiple interviews, it's not like you wake up every morning like, oh yes, I can't wait to go to a gym and squat 300 pounds. You have those days like any of us that I can't do this today. I don't want to.
I have them every day. I have them every day. You think I want to cuddle with my pregnant wife in a nice bed and just like anybody else. Matter of fact, that's why I'm taking 2 months off right now, because she was like, Sam, I'm so tired of waking up in this mansion alone. I'm like, well, babe.
This is like 10,000 square feet, right?
So my comeback to her is like, babe, I'm trying to work out when you sleep so you don't notice. Do you want me to take time away from you when you're awake? Because that's my thought process. That's my thought process. Like she goes, no, I just want to wake up to you. And I'm going to give her that.
And you get there before she wakes up.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So you don't try to impose your habits, your beliefs, or anything on anyone?
No, I don't.
You encourage, but you won't impose it.
Hey, look, teacher, student is ready when the teacher appears. You know what I mean? It's my 5-year-old came in the other day. She's like, Daddy, check this out. We need to open up a business. I go like, what? I'm like, Daddy, and she went like this, like what I do. She was like, I was like, what the hell? She's like, we need to open up a business, Daddy. I'm like, what kind of business? We're going to open up a gym, and we're going to train people, and we're going to get them nutrition stuff, and then we're going to do that, and if that doesn't work, we're going to open up a lemonade stand. I'm like this. I'm like, what the hell is kind of different? You know what I mean? I'm just looking at her, and I'm like, so I was like, so how do we make money? So we work hard, and we're relentless. And then I'm like, well, how do we actually make money? She goes, easy. We buy low, we sell high.
That's beautiful.
I was like this. I'm like, who are you? But the reason I'm telling you this is because she was listening to me all this time in her subconscious. So instead of me, if I forced her to do something, she won't do it, right? She will rebel. But she just watches me.
So you don't have her like, hey, come sit down, listen to what I'm saying, what I'm going to upload on YouTube, or hey, watch my latest video. She's in the other room. She hears what you say. She hears the intensity in your voice, and she sees.
I show her what I do. I'm like, hey, check this out. Check this cool thing I'm doing right now. Check this and that. You know what I mean? And she's like, I have, Instagram for my daughters, man. They got like, one of them has like 30,000. The other one has like 25,000. The funniest thing in life is watching a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old argue about who has more followers. You know what I mean? My 5-year-old can't even say Instagram. She said Instacam. You know what I mean? She came in the other day. She told my 9-year-old, I have 1 million followers on Instacam. My 9-year-old was like, no, you don't.
She goes and fact checks her.
She was like, no, you don't. You have only 24,342.
Might as well be more.
I have 28,000. I'm more popular than you. And they start arguing. I'm like, oh my God, what did I create?
And it's managed by you, of course.
Oh yeah, of course, man. They're not getting that, man. I think the only time they get that is to have a product to sell or something. I'm doing that because I want them to be able to be entrepreneurs, and one day when they have a product, to have an audience.
And that's important, right? To expose them to as much as you can at a young age.
Absolutely. That's all it is. That's all it is.
So everything that you lacked when you were a kid, let's just say, because I'm pretty sure you weren't exposed to entrepreneurship as a young boy.
I was exposed to gambling. I was exposed to drinking. I was exposed to cigarette smoking. I was exposed to just wasting fucking time. What is that game that Middle Easterns play, and they shake the
Backgammon.
dice.
Backgammon.
Yeah, exactly. I was exposed to that shit. You know what I mean? All day. Well, I mean, they sit all day and play
a
that. I'm
hookah
like,
pipe
fuck
and-
yeah, exactly. That's what I was exposed to, wasting fucking time.
And
that's
you never
why,
fell into it.
no, don't waste time, man. I saw family wasting. I'm not into that, man. I'm not into that. The thing that makes me happy in life is wake up and know that I was better than yesterday. If I'm not better than yesterday, I'm fucking depressed. And they know, my team knows that. What am I gonna do? Get better at backgammon? What the fuck is that gonna do for me? Is that gonna pay the bills?
Not much.
No, I'm not about that at all.
That's amazing. So what was it that kept you away from falling in those bad habits? Because I'm pretty sure your circle of influence, no one was where you're at. You didn't have a multi-million-dollar entrepreneur that you could come to for advice. So that must have come from within. So from what I'm able to pick up, you had negative role models. So you had people you didn't want to be like, not people necessarily that you wanted to be like.
I'm glad you asked that question. And that's a very good question. I think in life, you can either go with whatever you see, or you say, you know what, I don't want to fucking do that. I want to do the opposite. I mean, you see it a lot. You see it with the same sibling who have a mother or father who's addicted to drugs. One of them will be just like them, and the other one will be like, you know what, I fucking hate drugs. I saw what it has done with me. It's like totally the opposite. And I was that person. Because I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want that. My grandpa literally has lost blocks of homes, streets, in gambling.
Here in the U.S.? Or
No, this was back home.
Okay.
In gambling. Just gambling everything away. And everybody's like, Sam, do you gamble in Vegas? I'm like, fuck no. I don't fucking gamble at all.
You won't even touch it.
I won't even touch it. I think it's stupid. You know, even at this point right now, if I lose $20, I want to be pissed. I'd rather go eat some In-N-Out for $20, get fucking some doubles. I'm good. I'd spend that money. I'd rather spend
Some
a hamburger than fucking.
burgers.
I don't need thrill. I don't need that thrill of gambling. It's not part of me. That's why I hate gambling. I don't even gamble $20.
Yeah, because you saw how much destruction it could do in a family, and of course you don't want that.
Subconsciously, you know, it's a hell no. You know what I mean? Subconsciously, it's been a hell no.
Awesome, man. So take me to a point in time in which you graduated. Your mom now, you're her only son, right?
Yeah.
And you're a doctor now, so she's holding it up like the NBA trophy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. As a matter of fact, I have a picture right now. I'll show you. She called all her Middle Eastern friends and say, hey, man, my son's a doctor, my son's a doctor. Let me give you.
She's trying to find you a bride at this point, right?
Oh my gosh, she's trying to hook me up with my cousin, like my second cousin. I'm like, dude, are you fucking kidding me?
You got a whole lineup.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you a story that I've never told on any podcast, right?
Hey, well, you guys are gonna hear first.
I'm gonna hook you up. This is something like my mom always said. She's ignorant. She doesn't mean anything for people. Old school. Middle Easterns and old school. Anybody, even old. The most prejudiced people are old black people. You know what I mean? So this is just the ignorance, right? So when I was getting ready to, she always, ever since I was a little kid, she was like, Sam, you want to date these American girls and all that kind of stuff. Be careful, man. These girls are loose and they sleep around and they do this and that. When you're ready, you got to marry a nice Persian girl because they don't fuck around. They don't sleep around. They come from nice homes and clean family and this and that. I'm like, okay. Well, in Sharon, Pennsylvania, there was no Persians. I mean, so I was, so I was, dating. I remember one time my date came in and she had like a short dress on. She opened up the door and she fucking slammed it on her.
Your
mom?
Yeah,
my mom. And she comes back to me. She goes, "Who is this street woman in my house?" I was not street woman, man. That's like the principal's daughter, man. She's cool. She's like, no, man. I don't want her in the house. And you should be going out with her. I'm like, Mom, she's kind of hot, man.
And she's probably like, don't make sure nobody sees you, right?
Yeah. She's, they're all about like, the perception.
Of course, yeah.
So long story short, I moved, after college, I moved to LA, and I got a job at Bally's. And I'd never been around Persian girls, so I saw a Persian girl, and I didn't even like Persian girls. Long story. I'm just not attracted to my own kind. You know what I mean? And I saw a Persian girl. I'm like, oh damn, she actually works out. She looks good. this and that. So we started talking, and asked her on a date. And from what my mom, painted these Persian girls to be like, they're princesses.
Oh,
man.
this is someone who's
going
gonna
to
carry you.
Like this, like this and that. So I had this perception, man. I was a broke student. I like made a reservation at a nice restaurant. I took her flowers. And, did everything. Opened up her door. Like I was on my best behavior, right? And then after the date, she's like, well, let's go back to your house and watch some Persian movies. And there's this Persian comedian called Samat. And he's very big in the country. I was like, oh, I have the movie. Let's go watch it. It was VHS. We put it in there. And she came to my little apartment in Hacienda Heights. I literally had like a little 22-inch TV that was, the stand
with the knobs and all
with
that.
With a knob that was on a chair. That's what was holding it up. So she sat on this side of the couch, and I just sat on this side. I went like 20 feet away. The furthest I could go from her, I went over there, and I sat there. And she's like watching TV, and we're watching TV, and it was like the most awkward thing.
Yeah, it's like you guys are in two separate rooms.
Because getting with her was the last thing on my mind. But the last thing on my mind was like getting with this girl. Because my mom said, they're not like that, they're not like that. I swear to God, man. I was like, she's like, oh my God, it's so hot in here. And I'm like I'm still like not watching her. I'm nervous.
You're just
as hell.
saying that, like,
I'm saying like this. I'm saying like this. I'm going like, oh shit. You see her peripheral
like
vision,
Napoleon
right?
Dynamite.
Yeah. You see it at her peripheral vision, like she's like in her panties, right? And I'm going like this. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I'm trying to go back to what chapter I missed my mom. I'm going like, what do I must have missed a chapter. My mom didn't tell me about this. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, like she looks at me, and in Farsi she goes, well,
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, are you gonna do anything? And she must have thought I was gay, right? So I told her, I told her, for the love of my country, I had to do something. I had to represent.
Oh yeah, you got to raise the flag, right?
Yeah.
You know
what I mean? So and long story short, I called my mom the next day, like, Mom, you are a liar. And she goes, what happened? I go, you told me these girls do this, and that. She came over here, got naked, and started jumping on me. She's like, oh.
You got with the wrong Persian.
She's like, oh, she must be Americanized. I'm like, nah, that's your excuse now? You don't understand that there's good people in every culture, there's bad people in every culture. There's good girls in every culture, and there's hoes in every culture. You know what I mean? But she doesn't understand that. She just categorizes everything for one thing. So that's my whole, thing for you.
So after that was your first and last experiment, quote unquote, with a Persian?
No, I had another one, man. That was another disaster, man. The other disaster was this person. I was a student. This girl was a lawyer. And she was like, oh, I'm a lawyer, you're this and that. And I told her, I invited a couple of parties. She goes, I'm a lawyer. I don't do that. Man, it's just beneath me.
And that's common, right? Everyone has their nose up in the sky.
Oh, man, she was so stuck up, right? So I'm like, you know what, this ain't gonna work out. This bitch is boring. I'm like, I don't wanna date her, this and that. So next thing you know, like 2 years later, I'm in a rave. An underground, illegal rave. I'm partying with my friends, and this girl comes in, she goes, Sam, so what are you doing here? I'm like, no, what are you doing here?
You lose your license?
I thought you said that you don't fucking, I'd party and do this and that. You're just a liar. I was transparent. I told you what I did. And that's when I was like, no, I'm done.
It's amazing, man. You have stories for days.
Gosh,
we could be on the topic.
You got this on camera. I'm like, I don't know, maybe you should,
we can edit it out, but I don't want to. So
it's all good, man. I don't care. It's out, it's out.
The cat's out the bag.
I'm gonna give you something that was never heard before. It's the truth.
And hey, man, this is the first interview. This is my first interview, so I'm getting all the juice, man. I'm squeezing you for everything I can right now, and I really appreciate you sharing that. But I did come with a topic in mind that I really wanted you to emphasize on. I know your story, and I know a lot of the viewers know your story as well. I know you went through a very rough time.
Yeah.
Very, very rough time.
Which one?
2008, 2009.
Oh,
and
man,
that's something I could resonate with, and I think a lot of people were affected around that time as well.
Yeah.
But what I wanted you to share with the viewers is your mental state at the time, because that's tough. I know you mentioned, and maybe you could talk about it a little bit more for the people who haven't seen your interview elsewhere. During that time, you were expecting a kid, you just bought a house, you had everything, and you were just cashing in on money that you thought was coming. And I think that's something a lot of entrepreneurs fall into, right? You're cashing mental checks before they hit your account.
100%. Well, nobody, I didn't have a dad, and I didn't have a mentor. I just, built that business until that point, until just pure hustle, just serving people, helping people, knowing what I know. And so everything was good. And I started making money in 2000 when I started the business, and I started all the way in 2008. At one time, I was doing $2.4 million from a 3,500 square foot personal training studio. So I was killing it, right? But nobody told me there's ups and downs in the economy. I thought I was the fucking man.
Couldn't tell you shit.
Yeah, I thought I was the fucking man. I thought everything I touched would be the gold, right? When the economy is good, when the fish are jumping in the boat, you think you're a good fisherman. You know what I mean?
100%.
You know what I mean?
I love
So
that.
you know what I mean? So I thought I was just a man, right? So I was just doing stuff, and I had bought a Harley, I bought a bike, I bought a BMW. Matter of fact, I got the pictures I got to show you.
What kind of BMW?
I had my 330i. And then after that, I upgraded to an M3. And I had a Harley Davidson truck. And I was just living life. I was doing good. I'm like, hey, this is coming up and all that kind of stuff. Next thing you know, the economy hit, and
The brakes are on now.
80% of my clients were realtors and loan officers, and it didn't even slow down. Like somebody literally put an emergency brake on, like this. I went from doing $2.4 million in 2007 to $600,000 in 2009. New home. I remember, going taking my wife to the restaurant, and literally I'm overdrawn $13. Payroll is due $10,000 in 2 weeks, and she has a belly like this.
That must have been a very difficult conversation.
I cried. I literally cried. I'm like, I fucked up.
And what was going through your mind at that time? Was it, I gotta jump boat? Were you thinking, okay, well, Sharon, Pennsylvania doesn't sound too bad right now. Should I just go back? And my uncle has this. I could probably leverage myself a lot better over there.
No, that was never an option. The only thing that came to my mind is I'm going to be a deadbeat dad. I never wanted that because I had a deadbeat dad. I want to be able, for me, it's so important for me to give my family the best, and so I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be just like my dad. And he never did anything for me. I used to go to people's home where, they get nice stuff for Christmas and all that kind of stuff. I never got that and all that kind of stuff. I literally was crying my eyes out, and I'm like, man, I got to fucking do something. So I just soldiered up. I mean, I literally worked from 3 o'clock in the morning. You know how I would get up and go to the gym at 3 o'clock in the morning? I got up and straight worked. I went straight to work. 4 o'clock, and I tried to work out a little bit later in the afternoon, but it never happened because I was just in the work mode. I can't stop work mode when I'm in the work mode. So for a period of a while, I didn't even work out. I was just working. I sold some assets. I was getting foreclosure notices on the house. Never told, the wife to go to work because I'd never believed in that. I want her to stay with the kid.
And that's something cultural as well, right?
I don't know if it's cultural. It's just, for me, it's being a man. I mean? I'm old school. I'm being a man. You know what I mean? I just don't believe. I want my wife to be my kid. I don't want her to stress out from work. So no matter what happened outside, I came home defeated, and I would just, sit there. And that was the beginning of the end of a relationship because I got divorced because I was working so hard, and when she was talking to me, I couldn't even hear her because my mind was just it's still work mode, and it's crazy, I started turning things around, and in 2014 I started turning things around, but then when I started turning things, I started seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I got slapped with divorce papers, you know what I mean, and that was like, so in life, here's what you have to realize. You are either in a problem, headed towards a problem, or been in a problem. You know what I mean? That's life. There's nobody right now that says, oh, I don't have a problem. You always have a problem. So it's how you handle it and what you're going to do with it. You know what I mean?
That's powerful.
And again, looking back, remember, I had several devastations. All those devastations was for the better. Right now, I have, gosh, can I say this? A better wife, a much better wife. Somebody who's a lot more understanding, a lot more thing. Even though I was unhappy in my marriage, just because I grew up without a father, I would have never filed for divorce. And if I would have never filed for divorce, and she would have never filed for divorce, then we would have been unhappy together. 100%. So I'm so happy that she filed for divorce, even though at that time I was devastated. And so I moved into a hotel. There's a Chino Hills hotel, $67. I negotiated that shit.
You negotiated an extended stay.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm gonna be here for a while, man. So, and that was it, man. I mean, that was it. That's when, I sat down in a hotel room, in a cheap hotel room, crying for a couple of nights and asked myself, okay, what are you going to do? Sam, what are you going to do? I was 40 years old. I'm like, man, you're 40 fucking years old. You worked all your home, all this time. You lost everything. You just almost got back on your feet. And now you're in this situation. What a loser you are. You lost your family, this and that. And like I said, that's the most important thing. My girls are my most important thing. And I'm like, what are you going to do? At one point, I'm like, okay, well, let's just hit the clubs and start drinking and go chasing women. But I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. Because at the end of the day, that's not going to solve any problems. And my number one priority in life is to spend as much time with my children, right? And if I'm not spending, which was taken away because now I see the kids on Wednesdays and on Wednesdays and weekends. So if I'm not with the children, then what am I going to do? And then I'm going to provide for them.
The best that you can, yeah.
So basically, my top priorities were, spending time with the children, providing for the children. And if an activity didn't fit those two,
it was out.
It was a no.
And that's amazing. 3 questions actually come to mind, and I think our viewers would really find this to be profound. The first one is, during that time, were you still able to go to the gym and commit to your 3 o'clock routine? Or
during that time? No. Let me tell you something. Yes. At that time, I became a beast.
So you pushed even harder.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes. I went to the gym. I went to the gym even harder because when I'm really frustrated, I learned that by not going to the gym, I'm actually more stressed out. And then I'm really more frustrated when I look in the mirror, I look like shit. So now why would I want to compound that? So I started going to the gym, and that's when I started getting, because for a while I had a dad bod. For a while, I got some pictures, I'm like, I had a dad bod.
That's hard to believe, man.
For that, I'm looking at myself, I'm like, man, I'm picking up and I'm like, that's my body? I went from Mr. California to dad bod.
Because I'm looking at you right now, I'm wondering if you have rubber bands under your shirt holding your blood in your arms, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You always got to make time for yourself. If you don't make time for yourself, you're going to start resenting everything and everybody. And I always say, 1 hour a day is 4% of your time.
Correct, yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you don't do that, over time, you're going to resent people, you're going to resent yourself, and it's going to be a vicious cycle. So always remember, man, if I'm stressed out, my counterpunch is working out and working more.
100%, because it translates in every different aspect of your life.
Because if I'm stressed out, if I come home and just lay down, I can't lay down. I need to know I'm doing something about what's stressing me out, right? I'm not going to lay down. I mean, now that I think about it, this is what I did when I got bullied and I got ridiculed. I'm not going to sit down home and go, oh my God, poor me. I never had the victim mentality. It's okay. You have a problem. We know you have a fucking problem.
How do we fix it?
I'm not here to talk about the problem. My staff knows. Don't talk to me about a problem until you have a solution for it.
Correct, yeah. The second question I wanted to ask you is, did you have this clarity and insight despite being so devastated by the divorce, the loss of your cars, having to get rid of your assets, the eviction notices? I know you were 18 months backed up on your
mortgage. I think a little more than that. I think maybe 24 months or more.
24 months. So that's 2 whole years. Yeah. You're just ignoring it. You're just shredding that bill every single time it comes. That eviction notice, you're ripping it off the door.
I mean, I've learned, I have over the years with everything that happened to me, I have learned and have mastered to be able to cut out noise and focus on what's important. And for those of you guys who are listening to this or watching this, it's very, life is going to happen. Distractions are going to happen. Life is not going to stop because you have a goal. Life is not going to stop, life is going to throw you curveballs. It's a matter of when. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's just going to happen.
Yeah, like you said.
So you just have to make sure you stay focused on that one goal or 2 goals that you have. So this way, you're not letting your foot off the gas. So I've done it. Hey, can I stop anything about not being able to pay? I don't have the money. I can't change that. I can't change the eviction notice. I can only change what I can change, and I'm not going to worry about anything else. See, people are always worrying about things that they can't control. And if you're worried about things that can't, why is this happening? Or why does she do this? Why he do that? You can't control that. If you can't control it, then you can't worry about it.
Don't stress about it.
You only have to worry about what you can control. And that's what I did.
That's profound, man. And that's beautiful, because a lot of the times I feel like people look at you and think you don't have problems, but I'm pretty sure you have problems, bigger problems.
I got problems now. I got problems now. My staff knows. My staff knows I got problems now. I mean, life is never going to be without a problem. You don't think Bill Gates has problems? You don't think Oprah has problems? You don't think these people have problems? They have problems in magnitudes that will crush anybody else thinking about it. I talked to Manny. Manny Koshman, one of my friends, as big as he is. He goes, dude, every month I get 3 or 4 lawsuits. This just comes with the territory. If you want to be successful, you gotta have tough
bigger
skin,
problems.
Man. You're gonna have problems.
But at the time, did you feel like, okay, this is it? This is the problem that's gonna, you know what I mean, sweep me off my feet? Or were you in the mental capacity to think, okay, well, how do I fix this? Let me get past it. And then later on, when you reflect back on it, do you feel like, okay, that was so insignificant, I don't even know why I thought about it, right? That was a problem. You get what I'm trying to say? The bigger you get, the bigger your problems, right? So do your problems in the past become insignificant? Do you feel like they lose the significance they had at that time, given the stage?
Absolutely, man. I mean, when you had a problem a year ago or 2 years ago, right now when you look back, that was stupid. That wasn't a problem. When you look back, it was stupid. So these things, when you understand that problems are going to be there, you have a choice. You're gonna lay down and give up, or you're gonna or you're gonna counterpunch. I always say problem is like you're a boxer, you're in a corner, and somebody is just like wailing at you. Okay, you have a choice. You want to get knocked out, and you're gonna stay down, or you're gonna get back up and fight back. And for me, if I'm having a really, really bad day, you know what I do? I just get some pizza and go to bed early. Tomorrow will be another day. I go right back at it. That's what I do. That's as bad as it gets.
So you never wake up with the same emotion you went to sleep with. So if you had a bad day, you go to bed, you're not feeling it, you'll wake up, you'll program your mind to wake up. Hey, it's a new day. Yesterday's problem was yesterday's problem.
Look, man, that's it. That's what you got to do. It's not life-threatening. Everything is a perception, how you perceive it. If you change the way you look at things, you change your life.
Yeah, the only meaning things have are the meanings we give them, right?
So true.
That's amazing. And one last question that I wanted to ask you, and we're going to wrap it up, but I really wanted to ask you a question. You talk a lot about identifying your why, how important a why is, right? And you always, right now, asking you those questions about how you were feeling, your mental at the time with everything that was going on. You were still focusing on your daughters, Haley and Bailey, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that continues to fuel you, right? Do you feel like now, since you're expecting twins, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. Do you feel like that's just going to add fuel to the fire? Do you feel like...
You see my eyes right now?
You get teary? Yeah, man. I'm sorry.
No. You see my eyes right now? If your why doesn't make you cry, it's not a why. Every time somebody mentions my kids, I start tearing up. This is not made up. I'm not an actor.
I feel the emotion. You got to be in the room to feel the energy, yeah.
People are like, what the fuck? That's my why. That's my why. So if people are like, oh man, I know my why. No, you don't know your why. If you're sleeping in, you don't know your fucking why. You know what I mean? My job is to raise functional members of society. My job is to have my kids be proud of me. Hey, Daddy, I'm proud of you. Daddy, I want to be just like you. Daddy, I love you. That's all I need.
And I think that stems from you having so many people around you that you didn't want to be like. You don't have a single person in your past that you can point to and say, hey, I always wanted to be like you.
No.
There was no positive role models, so you figured, I'm my own hero, right? This is my story. I'm the hero to my story. That's amazing.
No, it's very amazing. Like, matter of fact, there are a few relatives that I just don't communicate with. I just don't want anything to do with. My aunt called me today. Sam, Sammy John. Hey, let me talk to you. I want to ask you something. I'm like, Auntie, is this going to make me mad? Because I don't want to talk about it. Well, I thought maybe you should talk to so-and-so and this. I'm like, no, I don't. I said, Auntie, I've dedicated my life to not be around anybody negative. I love them. I can love them from far. But if somebody gives me any bad vibe, I don't care who it is. If it's a relative, it's a friend, I don't need to be around that shit. That I've dedicated my life to be around positive people and people I want to be around, right? Especially when you get older. Like, this is halftime for me. Do I want to spend the rest of my life around anybody that just even slightly have to flinch? And I have to flinch muscles because they're around me. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, and you don't want to shrink yourself just to appease someone, right? You don't want to offend. You don't want to change yourself so you don't, because it's offensive to other people. I can definitely understand that.
And I want to do that for them, because for me, there's two things that are needed in any relationship. One is trust, and one is respect. Right?
If the two aren't there.
If one of them are there, if one of them is not there,
then you're not there.
You can't be there. And the problem with, obviously, trust is like, no, I just don't trust you, I can't be around you. If I leave my wallet or if I don't trust your word or you promise me stuff, you can't come through, I can't be around that. I can't respect that. I can't respect anybody. We were talking about a friend of ours who said, oh, I'm going to do this in the gym, And, he did it for a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden he's like, I can't respect that. Now I can't respect him. Don't tell me you're going to do something. It has nothing to do with me, but I'm just watching you. I'm just watching you. Because if you can't make a promise to yourself and keep it, then you're not going to make a promise to me and keep it.
That's amazing.
Right? And the second one is respect. If I lose respect, I have to remove myself from that relationship for the other person's sake. Because I literally will bully and punk you. I will. This is my trait. If I lose respect for you, you come around me, I'm going to say some stuff to you that I act out of my character. It's in my character to bully someone and punk you if I don't respect them.
I think that comes from you being a personal trainer, right? Because you're as blunt as can be with good intentions. I don't think you're doing it with malicious intent to bring the person down. You just want to show them, hey, you're not committing to what you said you would commit to, right? It's a way to push them forward.
When I was a personal trainer, when somebody didn't show up, I've been known to go to their office. Like, hey, you better be sick. You didn't show up to your training. Why are you here? I've had video footage back in the day of me just showing up to people's thing. I was the trainer when somebody didn't show up and they see me at the restaurant, they go run in the back of the bathroom and hide. I have clients that would like see me, oh shit, there's Sam, I'm eating this, I gotta go run. Because at the end of the day, my job is to get them results. They pay me for results. They're not paying me to be their friends. I'll be your friends after you get results. How is that?
That's amazing. So just so we can wrap up, because I know you're tight on time, there are two things that I wanted to ask you. I know in your previous video you mentioned the 5 F's, and that really stood out to me. And if I could list them, just to show you how dedicated I am to this
awesome.
Interview. You said family.
Faith first.
Oh, faith. I'm sorry.
No,
faith.
No, that's a faith. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to ask you, how important is faith in any regard?
So first of all, I don't care. Faith is not about religion for me. I don't care if you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, you're a Jew. I don't care about that. For me, faith is you believing that you're here for a purpose greater than yourself.
To serve.
To serve. You know what I mean? So you have to understand that you're here. God just did, put you on this planet for you to get up, eat, shit, sleep, and get back and do the same thing, right? You're here for a bigger purpose, and you have to find that purpose. So that's faith. Then it's family.
Family, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's,
they go hand in hand, right?
You have to.
Because you're serving.
They all go hand in hand. If one of them is broken, then you're not going to have a fulfilling life, because that's a 6F. Let's just say you have faith, family, fitness, and finance together, and you're just not having any fun.
Yeah.
You just go, one of those people that have all this permanent,
frowns
frown on
their
their face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not gonna. So if you have faith, you have family, you have your fitness, you have your finance, and you have your fun. That's the only way that you can be fulfilled.
And that's something that was a revelation to you later on, right? Because you were just chasing money all the time.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give 80-year-old Sam Bakhtiar? What would you tell him? Because a lot of the times people say, what would you tell your 20-year-old self?
You just threw me for a loop, okay.
You know what I mean? I try to practice something different. I usually take videos and record them for 40-year-old Amir, you know what I mean? Hey, you're gonna get through this. And I feel like when I put myself in the future, it translates to me at my current state and helps me get through it. So what advice would you give your 80-year-old self and not your 20-year-old self? Would you tell yourself, don't stress out, take things easy, things aren't as serious as you think they are, you know what I mean?
What advice would I give myself when I'm 80? At 80, man, I'm setting myself up to just hang out with the grandchildren. You know what I mean? And at that time, I don't think there's anything in the world that's going to stress me, because I'm already set myself that way. I just want to lay down in front of, in a big old carpet, and I have grandkids just jump all over me. That to me is what I want to do when I'm 80 years old. And I want to make sure when my day comes that I'm going to meet my creator, that I want to say, you know what, I became the best version I could be given the circumstances, and I live a life with no regrets.
Thank you so much for being on the show today, Sam. That's a wrap, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll put my Instagram handle in the description below along with Sam. And until next time, keep it real.